Good morning. My name is Nina Hentz, and I am your worship associate today on this beautiful spring morning. Welcome to those of you who are here with us in person at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke, Virginia. We extend a special welcome if you are joining us for the first time. We also say welcome to those of you joining us on YouTube. Please, if you are on YouTube and you have something you would like to share in joys and concerns, in the next 15 minutes, if you would put that information in chat so we can get it to our Lifelines coordinator. Our minister is the Reverend Walter LaFleur, and today's service is, so who are we really? A reminder, if you'd take a second, check your cell phone to make sure it is on silent. If you choose, please join us in speaking the words of welcome. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy, as you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness, overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself, or eager to engage with others. All who welcome all are welcome here.
Well, good morning to you too. This morning, we begin our annual pledge campaign season, and I've been asked to say a few words. Last fall, as the prior fall, the board came together for a weekend retreat. The goal was to get to know each other, deepen relationships, have some fun, and set goals for the coming year. I've been asked to speak to our first goal, which is increase congregational awareness of anti-racism, anti-oppression, and multiculturalism. I'm here to tell you we did a good job this year. I'm impressed by the work this congregation has been doing, both before I arrived and since my arrival. And I know you'll hear details about some of that work during reports at our annual meeting. But I want to hold up the work of the 8th Principal Group, and I look forward to hearing more about their work as time goes by. They've wrestled with the denominational wide question as to whether or not we should add an additional principle, an 8th principle, to our existing 7 principles. And as virtually always the case with UUs, there are probably 73 different perspectives and thoughts and beliefs about it. But the question will be raised at our annual meeting coming up this summer, June. And if the proposal to add an 8th principle gets 50% vote of the population, it'll get studied for a year. And then next year, it will require a 70% or 75% approval of those who were at our annual meeting in order for it to become an 8th principle. I also want to hold up the work that I've been doing. I've been actively involved, going on now for 2 years, along with Teresa Poole, a citywide group of Black and white folks from churches, looking at the issue of reparations. We read a book called Reparations, A Christian Call for Repentance and Repair, written by Duke Kwan and Gregory Thompson. I think our library has a copy or two here. It's well worth reading, well worth reading. It stresses the need for white repentance, for being party to the benefits of oppression of an entire race of Americans. This group that I've been a part of, that we've been a part of, just held a weekend-long symposium at the Roanoke College. The guest speaker was Dr. Neighbors, who's associated with the Black Baptist Church in Evanston, Illinois, and has been part of the longest municipal focus on reparations in the country, as I understand it. It was a grand time. He spoke on Saturday evening, I guess, Friday evening, and then had a panel discussion yesterday. Good stuff, good stuff. I want to say that the symposium capped off 2 years of work of this reparations group that's been working locally. And he has helped us plant the seeds for engaging the subject in Roanoke, Salem, to do reparations, to have this community get involved with the whole subject of reparations. And at this point, just the kernel of seeds are being planted, but I'm thrilled by the work. So I want to let you know that this congregation has long been engaged in diversity work, and it continues to be engaged with diversity work. And we have achieved our first goal from the board to pay attention to issues of race and racism. So this is the first of what I think 6 presentations before you actually get to the annual meeting. And each week you'll hear a presentation. And today there's food after lunch or after the service. Will someone be able to speak to that who's here? So you'll hear details about that later this morning.
Please join me in reciting the covenant if you would like. We commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world.
So you may recognize this song. Good morning, everybody. Sorry. You may recognize this song. And I happened to find somebody straight from I don't know where in London who can sing this song just as it should be sung.
All we want is our church right here, filled with folks who are full of cheer, with fun so we won't fear a wouldn't it be lovely? Lots of coffee for us to drink, lots of programs to make us think, some cash to fix the sink. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely?
Oh, so lovely, giving to support the fellowship. We'll give freely so the board won't have to use the whip.
We will give till we feel real good, doing more than we thought we could. It seems like what we should. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely?
Lovely,
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 lovely.
Encore, encore. Well done, thank you. May we ever seek to unwrap the truth of who we are, for we, each of us, is here to play a particular role in the unfolding of the universe and to fulfill our purpose on this earth at this time and in this place. We relight the chalice. We light the chalice with hope and aspirations for a more gentle world, a more loving world. May we be granted the strength and commitment it takes to manifest our espoused values, our beliefs.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of life.
Good morning. It may come as a shock that I don't actually have a Cockney accent. I'm Jessie. I'm the director of Lifespan Faith Development here. And can somebody tell me what is on this board? Now, some of you may not be able to see it in the back. By all means, come look at this before you leave this morning. What is it? Just tell me. A body, a human body. A human body. What is missing?
Its face and its hair.
Will you draw its face and its hair? What do you think is missing?
Its shoes.
Draw its shoes. Shirt. What's missing? It's pants. And you guys can just outline those things if you want. You can just scribble them on there. You know what I think might be missing? Can you make sure it gets a smile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how to do this. I've been drawing people since I was 2.
Oh, you've been drawing people since you were 2? You know better than I do. Can someone make sure that it gets a soul?
Yeah.
How do you draw a soul? It's a little silly question, isn't it?
Like maybe a little like ghost kind of thing.
Maybe a little ghost kind of thing. Let's give it a green little ghost kind of thing. Go for it, Sandy.
Right after I'm done with the face.
Okay. Well, we've got a lot to draw here.
So
What about its mind? This person's mind. Where would that go?
I'll do it. Right
Go
here.
for. We're gonna let Damien do it.
Just randomly. Hair. Ooh, can I
Yeah.
do
Okay.
hair?
So we've got a mind.
Can I
We've
do
got.
hair?
You can do some hair.
Can I have brown hair? Wait, I know what I'm missing.
What about this person's happiness? How do we draw happiness on there?
A smile.
A smile. How do we draw this person's beliefs? Maybe this person believes.
We can draw something. We can draw it. It's the person saying, go Jesse.
We can give it words.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can give that person words. Can we use our words to talk about our beliefs?
Yes.
Yeah. So does anybody know for sure something they believe that they would write on here?
God is real.
God is real. Anybody else have a solid belief that they believe? Hi, good morning.
Bananas are better than oranges.
Bananas are better than oranges. That's a solid belief.
That is true.
So we can't always just use pictures. We can't always use. It's hard sometimes to describe these things, isn't it? So this morning, the adults are going to talk a little bit about what makes us different, and it's a spirituality. And we're going to talk about what that word means in a little bit. But the adults are going to talk about whether they think we are people who are spiritual, or we're spiritual people who exist in this world together. So we're going to make our own decision on that. And we're also going to talk about the things that make our spirits move in this congregation. Are you ready to do that? I know we haven't finished this illustration. We can come back after children's church
We need to draw
and
its skin.
finish.
It's skin.
Oh, we're going to let these adults imagine the skin. Are you ready? Let's do it.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the light of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Every now and then, Rev Walter picks a reading that's just like, oh, this one's good.
Oh, good. I was wondering where you were going with that.
I know, right? My world? Not so. From Out of the Ordinary by Reverend Gordon B. McKeeman, excuse me. I may be the world's, but the only part of it that is mine is that private interior view I have of events, places, and people. The world filtered through my feeling, my hope, and sometimes my despair. Its light and shadows are my knowledge and ignorance. Its heightened depths are the geography of my soul. Its rain, my tears. Its sunshine, my laughter. I long sometimes to escape the prison of my being, to see things as they are, and then I wonder if I'm not safer in my own interior world, where facts can be molded and reality shaped to my own needs. So in the end, I safely enfold myself in my own world chrysalis. But now and then, a shaft of out there penetrates the in there. Sometimes it is a wound, sometimes a freshening breeze, sometimes a hearth brightening blaze, or a flash of light illuminating for an instant the darkness of my self prison. Arise, prisoner in your dungeon self. Tear away the bars, crumble away the concrete, melt the locks. Trust yourself to the world. It will possess you in the end. Let it have you living, that it may cradle you dead.
I don't know that I fully believe in reincarnation, but I find the idea intriguing. I find it wholly reasonable. What about you? Thoughts about reincarnation? I believe there's more than just dust for us after death. The seventh principle, our seventh principle, talks about the interconnected web of all existence. And isn't there a law of physics that says something about matter cannot be created nor destroyed? So in my mind, it seems fair to say we matter. To my mind, our essence simply becomes reunited with the all in some form or another. That's beyond my pay grade. And I don't know that I understand it. I believe we're already connected to the all, just in human form, during our days here on earth. Who knows what happens before or after our days here on earth? Pierre Teilhard de Chardin tells us we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. He tells us we are spiritual beings having a human experience. I believe each of us comes into human form with what I call a particular cross to bear. It seems to me each of us has one, maybe two, maybe three issues that resurface during our lifetime over and over and over again, even if they appear in our lives in different forms. Maybe it's problems with money. Maybe it's problems with holding a job, or maybe it's being taken advantage of. Said differently, issues of security, betrayal, issues of trust. In that sense, I'm perfectly comfortable with the notion that we're put on this earth to learn something in particular or to work through a particular issue. It seems to me I've always known we are more than our physical selves, that we're more than our personalities, more than our ego's definition of who we are. So imagine my excitement when I read a scientific study that proved it some 20 years ago, plus or minus 7 or 8. It took me almost the entire summer to read through The User Illusion by Tor Norstander, a Danish science writer. It was dense. It was dense, but I loved it. He essentially argues that consciousness is a hoax. Consciousness is an illusion. For a whole book. He used the computer as a metaphor to explain that our consciousness is not in charge. He recites an experiment where a person is hooked up to all sorts of electrodes designed to record brain synapses, neural responses, muscular movements, the works. The subject is asked simply to raise a finger whenever they're ready. Simply to raise a finger while hooked up to all this equipment. The data showed that the person made the conscious decision to raise their finger after the body had already begun getting ready for the muscles to move. The nerve endings that instructed muscle movement were already in action before the conscious mind made the decision to raise their finger. In some ways, it ought not be a surprise. I think we've all had the experience of reacting to a stimulus before we consciously knew what we were doing or that we would react. The most obvious example, it seems to me, is tripping over something. We just react. We don't think about staying straight. The same is true when we react to a word or a gesture. We often don't stop to think about what just happened. Why did it happen? Or what should we do or say? We just react. I think there's a name for that sort of thing. It's called trigger words. Words that just prompt us to react. They touch some portion of ourselves, some brain, some emotion. We just react. Sometimes we react in laughter. Sometimes we scream. Sometimes we react in anger. Sometimes we just brood. Sometimes we verbalize our reaction or our response. Oops, that just came out. I didn't mean to say that. Sometimes we physically or emotionally disengage. Disengage for a second or two, a minute or three, a day, a lifetime. Often we judge. I know I have a knee-jerk reaction whenever someone refers to me as boy. Some women have a similar reaction when referred to as girl. The reaction isn't a conscious intention to react. We just react. And the list is uncomfortably long. We all have our own sensitivities, whether we claim them or not, whether we recognize them or not. I know there are sensitivities to various words within this community. Every group has them. Words that prompt a reaction, and words newbies are sometimes instructed not to use. Think for a moment. If any such words come to mind, but don't say them aloud. We don't want to offend anybody. Words we've been dissuaded from using in any given particular community. Maybe we should make, in our sense, a congregational list where would we be if those words were never used? Maybe, just maybe, we should be more flexible, more accepting as a faith community. Just a thought from your minister that we might be more accepting more often. There are things we become programmed to react to, reacting without thinking. We react almost instinctively, and much too often without reflection. Such reflections are the downside of not being aware, the downside of being driven by the emotion of past experience, past teaching, past learnings, past pains. It's a very human dynamic. We all do it, even if differently. The great danger is in not questioning our reaction, not questioning our responses or our judgments. My goodness, that pushes a button. Where did that come from? Not considering that another might have a different understanding, a different reaction, a different meaning. Tor Norstander, in the user illusion, makes the distinction between the I and the me. He tells a story about a boy riding a bicycle. Riding a bicycle when a person all of a sudden emerges from around a corner. The boy crashes his bike instead of hitting the person. He says, who was it that was? He says it was not the I that made the decision to crash the bike instead of hitting the person. He said, I was a bystander and an observer. He said something inside the boy made the decision. And he asked who made the decision. So I want you to stay with me here for a moment, because I want to try to make some important distinctions. Norstander makes a distinction between the I and what he calls me. He equates the I with the ego sense of self, our conscious sense of ourselves. He says the me is more than the I. He calls the I the conscious player. The me is a person in general. He equates the ego sense of self, our conscious sense of ourselves. He says the me is more than the I. He calls the I the conscious player. The me is the person in general. The I is not at the wheel in many situations when urgency is required, but is in charge of lots and lots of situations where there is time for thought. The me embraces the bodily reactions, mental processes that are not initiated or carried out by the I, by the conscious self. He writes, empirical evidence from measurements of subliminal perceptions and experiments show that the I does not decide nearly as much as it thinks it does. The I tends to take credit for decisions, credit for computations, realizations, and reactions carried out by the me. In fact, the I refuses to acknowledge that there is a me, according to Norstander, a me that's not identical to the I itself. The I cannot account for the me, but just goes on pretending. Norstander goes on to say, people are not conscious of very much of what they sense. People are not conscious of very much of what they think. People are not conscious of very much of what they do. We have to face the facts that we are far more than we believe ourselves to be, that we have far more resources than we perceive, that we leave our mark on more of the world than we notice. We're far more than we believe ourselves to be. We have far more resources than we perceive. Our mark on the world is far greater than we know. I suspect many of us know this at some level of our being. Why else immerse ourselves in gardening, in nature? Why else take up yoga meditation? Why else buy into the notion of Buddhism? Why seek out a community of faith? I suspect that many of us know we are more than our mental capabilities, more than our ego sense of ourselves. I think most of us have had the experience of knowing things our rational minds cannot explain. Our culture even has a name for it. We call it coincidence. We call it a good guess. We call a new age word synchronicity. Even when we locate such information as residing in our bodies, intuition or gut feel, for example, we tend to treat these things as if they're not real. As a society, we place so much emphasis on rational thought, so much emphasis on knowing. We so highly value individualism as the ego sense of self. As was quoted earlier, the I refuses to acknowledge that there is a me that's not identical to the I itself. I believe the kind of knowing that is not the product of rational thought can scare the hell out of the I. That's the one that has a sense of itself, the ego sense of self. Where did that come from? Did I just say that? We're so often frightened by not knowing. We're frightened by the thought of not being good enough, about being wrong or looking foolish. I can't tell you how many times in a week, in a day, I find myself thinking my way through an issue, a question, a problem. Think it through, Walter. Even though experience tells me I'm often much better off just being quiet, tuning into myself and listening for the answer or the direction. More than once, I've made the mistake of listening to my head rather than accepting what my internal compass was telling me. Do I not? The rational mind inevitably wants to be in charge. Now, maybe I'm the only one that does that. I didn't think so. but I wanted to test to see if you were listening. All right, I'm ready to bring it home now. Give me a moment. What I so want to communicate to you this morning is the power of community. Letting go to community. But not just any community. The power of a faith community. The power of a spiritual community, a religious community. I want us to move away from so much intellectualizing, step away from our concepts, our rational constructions, our beliefs. I'm intending to talk to your me, the inner me, the you that includes your body, your senses, your inner knowing. That's the part of you I want to speak to. That part that's inside, not up here. That's the place I intend to speak from, and I'm attempting to speak from in this very moment. Please know that the inner self includes your conscious thoughts. They've not gone away. It recognizes that your conscious thoughts cannot account for your inner being. Conscious thoughts does not know your spiritual being, your innermost self. That's not what it's constructed to do. Your conscious thought cannot know your soul's purpose. To your rational self, those are just words. They're just ideas. They're just concepts beyond the ability to grab. It seems to me the primary purpose of a faith community, a religious community, a spiritual community, is to speak to our innermost selves, the essence of who we are. Its purpose is to support and enliven spiritual growth, to feed our souls, not our mental constructions. Our 7 principles are the backbone of our beliefs, of our belief system. Our covenant reinforces and helps us to manifest our principles. Together they undergird and drive our mission, our reason for being. In short, our principles, our covenant, and our mission are intended to speak to and to feed the me of who we are, the deepest sense of self, the part of us that encompasses the totality of who we are. Our faith calls us to seek to engage the me in each other and in the larger world. In all honesty, and I mean no disrespect, our faith community is not particularly interested in your ego sense of self. We do not exist to stroke and feed egos. Instead, we seek the bigger you, the wholeness of who you are. We want for each of you to be the biggest, the best self you're able to be. For at some level, we know we are all far more than we believe ourselves to be. We have far more resources than we perceive, that we leave our mark on more of the world than we notice. May it forever be. Amen. And Ashe. This morning we have a special collection. We have LEAP here. It's a Roanoke-based 501c3 nonprofit, a new kind of farmers market. Laura Weatherford Burns, come tell us about it, please.
Good morning. I'm Laura Weatherford Burns, the Administrative Services Manager with Local Environmental Agriculture Project. LEAP is a Roanoke-based 501c3 nonprofit founded in 2009. LEAP began in Grandin Village as a new kind of farmers market that encouraged sustainable growing practices where vendors sold food they grew themselves and young farmers could get a foothold. For the last 14 years, LEAP has identified barriers to feeding Roanokers healthy food and searched for paths around them. LEAP strives to nurture an equitable and food and farming system that prioritizes health and abundance. LEAP programs include 2 farmers markets, a mobile market, an online marketplace, a farm share, a food hub, and a commercial kitchen, 3 community gardens, and a robust nutrition incentive program. LEAP offers matching funds to SNAP recipients to make fruits and vegetables more affordable. In a recent survey, 83% of respondents said that LEAP helped them eat more healthy food. In 2021, a recipient of a percentage of Roanoke City's share of the American Rescue Plan Act funding, LEAP was able to purchase a building at 1027 Patterson Avenue. The building was renovated in 2022, and for the first time in LEAP's history, all 14 of LEAP's staffers are housed in one location. The building is a centralized operation in the West End neighborhood that is headquarters for LEAP's mobile market, the new home of the West End Farmers Market, the LEAP Food Hub, and offices for all staffers. In 2024, LEAP will open a permanent retail store in the same location, offering locally sourced fruits and vegetables, meats, cheeses, and pantry items. LEAP is the managing organization for Virginia Fresh Match, a statewide network of farmers markets, farm stands, and community retail outlets that offer double the value of SNAP benefits at their venues as a way to make fresh foods more affordable for all. For example, if an eligible customer uses $10 at LEAP markets, they receive an additional $10 to spend on fruits and vegetables. Incentives are offered at all of LEAP's farmers markets, the online marketplace, and for the LEAP Farm Share program. Additionally, LEAP offers vouchers for senior citizens at select mobile market sites. Your donation will allow families in low food access areas of Roanoke to double their fruit and vegetable purchases with LEAP. Many of you value local food. You've tasted it at Grandin Village Farmers Market or been delighted by a new flavor in your farm share. Now is the time to help LEAP continue its success. Thank you.
We'll take an offering this morning to help feed LEAP.
What have we to offer? What have we to share? Coins from the coffer, hearts filled with care. God will not falter, so let us dare. Lay it at the altar there. What have we to offer? What have we to bring? Love ripe with laughter, what we're after, promises of when. Lay it at the altar then.
So much goes into feeding who we are, feeding a larger community. We're grateful for your assistance in feeding folks in need.
Good morning. Let's see here, get organized. I'm Robert Wallenborn from the Caring Committee, and one of the things we do is record the current joys, concerns, and milestones of the congregation as lifelines. And if you would like to tell us about a joy, concern, or milestone that you would like to be shared with the congregation, you can either call or email a member of the Caring Committee or call or email the church office. If you contact the church office, you want to do so probably before noon on a Friday, or you can write it in the Lifelines book, which is up here on Sunday mornings and the rest of the week in the alcove beside the name tags in the hallway. Let us enter into a time of reverence together into the space of love and hope. And we bring these joys, concerns, and milestones today. Right. Jean Larson is happy to announce that her husband's outpatient hip replacement surgery last Thursday went well. And she says, hooray for doctors and nurses. And, let's see. And Spike and Jane Harrison's son, Frank Harrison, had emergency surgery for a perforation of his bowel caused by diverticulitis. And the surgeon thought he may need to insert a temporary colostomy bag, but during the surgery decided not to do that. Frank still has a long road to recovery, and please send healing thoughts to him in Fairborn, Ohio. In case you don't know where Fairborn is, I wondered that too, so I looked it up. It's right next to the much bigger city of Dayton in Southwest Ohio. And sad to report, Richard Buckingham died yesterday after a few weeks in hospice. And his daughter, Christina, is here with us this morning, and she's right over here in the hat. If you can wave, people may want to speak to her after the service. Okay. All right. Okay, and now I share these words. Evoking the presence of great compassion, let us fill our hearts with our own compassion toward ourselves and towards all living beings. Let us pray that all living beings realize that they are all brothers and sisters, all nourished from the same source of life. And if you would like to light a candle for something that is on your heart this morning, I invite you to come forward during the music meditation, and may the warm light of that flame bring you peace. And please use both sides of the altar.
I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I'm sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love.
Prayers be answered, and our hearts restored.
Join me in a time of prayer, meditation, reflection. Spirit of life, weaver of all creation, we bring our attention to gratitude this morning, for we're grateful to simply be alive. We're grateful for the opportunity to experience yet another day, for it provides us the opportunity to write another page in the story of our lives. Great Spirit, we're thankful for the opportunity to commune with fellow travelers on this journey of existence. We endeavor to gain one more glimpse of our connectedness, to be touched a bit deeper by the joy of belonging, to experience the calm of resting into who we truly are. We share the discovery of who we are meant to be. Help us to remember that we need one another and that we each play an important part, a unique part in this interconnected web of creation. Help us to be the best that we can be. Amen.
And if I could direct you to the inside of your program, we have a list of announcements, the most important of which being there are two. One is that at 12:15 today, we have a clean energy rally out here on the corner. And no, I think it's that way, actually. Yeah, I have no sense of direction, so don't ever follow me, okay? And then Gen Cam would like to invite you to join them, that we have 17 places available today. And the lunch is provided by Big Lick Barbecue, which I've been told is Carrie's favorite. And this includes salad and, barbecue, obviously, salad and country mac and cheese, which from a city girl, I don't know if that's different than city mac and cheese or not, but I'm willing to find out. There's also beverages. There will be 4 of these meals coming up April 2nd, April 16th, and April 30th. There is a sign up genius link here. I'm assuming you guys are going to send this out through maybe, so they can just click on it. That'd be awesome. So just let us know, and please join us in the fellowship hall later after the service. That's all I have. Remember to get your announcements in to Susan by 12 o'clock on Friday.
So the closing music today is called Gathering of Spirits. And I'm sorry, it's not in your order of service, but sometimes weeks go like that. This is by Carrie Newcomer, and I picked this song sort of as a prelude to the gathering of spirits that's about to happen in the small sanctuary afterwards. Let it go, my love, my truest. Let it sail on silver wings. Life's a twinkling, that's for certain. But it's such a fine thing. There's a gathering of spirits. There's a festival of friends. And we'll take up where we left off when we all meet again. I can't explain it. I couldn't if I tried. How the only things we carry are the things we hold inside, like a day in the open. Like the love we won't forget, like the laughter that we started and hasn't died down yet. Let it go, my love, my truest. Let it sail on silver wings. Life's a twinkling, that's for certain. But it's such a fine thing. There's a gathering of spirits. There's a festival of friends. And we'll take up where we left off when we all meet again. Oh yeah, now didn't we? And don't we make it shine? Are we standing in the center of something rare and fine? Some glow like embers, or light through colored glass. Some give it all in one great flame, throwing kisses as they pass. Let it go, my love, my truest. Let it sail on silver wings. Life's a twinkling, that's for certain. But it's such a fine thing. There's a gathering of spirits. There's a festival of friends. And we'll take up where we left off when we all meet again. Just east of Eden, but there's a heaven in our midst. We never really all that far from those we love and miss. Wade out in the water. There's a glory all around. The wisest say there's 1,000 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Let it go, my love, my truest. Let it sail on silver wings. Life's a twinkling, that's for certain. But it's such a fine thing. There's a gathering of spirits. There's a festival of friends. And we'll take up where we left off when we all meet again. and we'll take up where we left off when we all meet again. When we all meet again.
May we all be fed and nourished by acceptance of who we truly are. Go into your week in peace. Yes, not recently, but I have. Aren't they special?
They are. That was just